welcome to Ed Fluential Sports, where passion meets precision. As I'm your host, Ed, diving deep into the plays, players, and stories shaping the game. And today we got another episode of Week Out Punting. So who will be and who do I think should be winning the championship and win? So as you see in the title, as you see in the thumbnail, we talking about Trick Williams. And I know a lot of people are going to say, well, what about Money in the Bank? What about Money in the Bank? I understand the idea of him winning Money in the Bank, him being one of the top heels. But think about the guy that always had his back in NXT, the guy that was his hype man, Booker T, who won King of the Ring. So that's first going to play a factor into it. Second, we're talking about a guy who's already a world champion, who was a world champion at TNA, had a very successful run there. So he was competing in two brands at one time. Not a lot of people can do that successfully. People can do it, but Trick Williams did it successfully. He was also consistently in the main event of NXT, and NXT has been the top show for WWE for the last year, in my opinion. So Trick Williams, I think he would benefit a lot from winning Money in the Bank. From winning King of the Ring. He'd benefit either way. I think King of the Ring is the better option for him, for the route that I want to go with him. And because SummerSlam comes before Money in the Bank this year, so that means King of the Ring will be before Money in the Bank. So I feel like you already have a star in this guy. He's already been across multiple brands. While being in WWE, you allowed him to go to TNA and get some run there. You handpicked him and Lash to go to the Raptors game. There was obviously in discussions of who they wanted to represent WWE there, and they allowed that to be Trick and Lash Legend. So, and they could have went with any couple. They could have picked Becky and Seth. They could have picked Tez and Bianca. They could have, well, Andrade not there anymore, and that's over with. But Miz and Maurice, you could have picked them, but they decided to go with Trick and Lash to go to that Raptors game. And then I think Trick, he'll get some roles in some movies and stuff like that. But let's focus on it now, and let's focus on his path. I'm going to take it with him. Because I think now let's start with February. Obviously, this is coming out on the 6th. So this likely won't happen. But the path I would take, I would have him on SmackDown, the SmackDown this tonight. I would have him approach R-Truth backstage and just talk about how he's a joke to the black community. They probably can't say anything they probably can't say that specific line in 2026. But R-Truth really does. The stuff going on. You still got the stuff with Ilya, and then Trick and Miz, they could win by cheating, maybe doing something while the ref is distracted. And then February 20th, that's when you get Trick trying to declare for the Chamber, but Nick Aldis, he don't allow due to his disrespect to R-Truth. That makes Nick Aldis feel this way because he's soft for him. That's how he's a little soft. He's not as soft as Adam Pearce, but that's what they'll do. And then that's when Truth, he'll come out there. He won his match next week. He won a one-on-one match. No tag team, none of that. Then SmackDown, February 27th. Trick Williams gets the win over R-Truth, and he leaves him bloody, writing him off TV for a few weeks because they're not going to have nothing for Truth to do after that. So just take him off of TV for a few weeks. And then Trick, you don't schedule him for Elimination Chamber. This is going to play into his story going into WrestleMania. March 6th, SmackDown. Trick Williams, he starts the show. Talk about how he felt disrespected, that he was left off the Elimination Chamber, how he should be fighting for his world championship, how he didn't take the pin in the Fatal 4-Way a while back, how he left R-Truth bloody, made him even more of a joke. Then that's when Sammy come out there talking about how Trick hasn't paid his dues. As soon as he say dues, Trick just drops him, just deliver a big-ass forearm to him. Like, yeah, I ain't trying to hear any of that. And then March 13th, SmackDown, had Trick and Shinsuke have a match just because this is we're not focusing on Shinsuke having a match. That's not the feud here. The feud is Sammy. Shinsuke is going to get the win due to Sammy getting involved and interfering while the ref is distracted. That's just going to be part of the story. So don't focus on Shinsuke here because he won't matter at the end of the day. March 20th, that's when you have Trick come out and call out Sammy. Like, you're supposed to be the good guy, but you getting involved in my matches and breaking that fourth wall a little bit, basically saying you the baby face, but you interfering. Like, what sense does that make? Even because all he did was, because obviously it's already a bit of history there from promo they had already from them being in the four-way. So you can keep building that. Have Sammy just interfere and make Trick lose because he was pissed about getting dropped last week. And then that's when you have then you had a last minute match for Saturday night's main event. Now some of these dates aren't confirmed. This is just assuming that these dates will happen. So let's just say it's a Saturday night's main event on March 21st. Trick Williams would defeat Sami Zayn by getting his foot on the rope with the ref not looking. Now obviously he's a heel. It's simple. Put his foot on the rope. Because it's gonna lead to their match at WrestleMania. So I can give him you can give him a cheap win at Saturday night's main event. Then keep building to what they're doing at WrestleMania. That's when you go to March 27th, because you still need something for Sammy to say in these promos. So March 27th, SmackDown, Sammy, he questions Trick. He was like, you can only win by cheating, because that's how they done got the last two wins with a ref distraction with Trick's foot on the rope. And the last two matches they've been a part of, it's like, or the last two matches Trick has been a part of, Sami Zayn paying attention to what Trick been doing. So it's like, that's the only way you can beat me. So then they get heated backstage. It don't got to be a promo. It can just be a backstage thing. Then Melo, after the feud with not himself, once the feud with Ilya and Miz done, he can do the open challenge. He don't got to do it consistently, but just an open challenge just to end the night. Then that's when Sami Zayn answers and he loses. He just loses clean. Give Melo a clean win. And then that's when Trick come out and attack Sami Zayn post-match. So then you get to SmackDown April 3rd. Trick and Sammy, they do a promo. Trick points out how he's been a world champion, how it was in TNA, running things while in NXT, and I didn't get injured at the hands of my best friend. Carmelo Hayes couldn't do shit like that to me. So that's when you bring up the Kevin Owens thing and his NXT stint, and basically just calling Sammy an elite loser. Like, yeah, you beat Gunther, yeah, you beat the Usos, but those for the IC and tag title. When it comes to the main event scene, with you 0-12 against Drew McIntyre, Then Sammy, he just wants his rematch. His whole point is that you've only beaten me by cheating. You didn't beat me clean. So then that's when their match gets made as official for WrestleMania. It's gonna be a Falls Count Anywhere's match. Building towards Cody, Drew, and Fatu, and I don't see that taking place at Chamber. I see it at Mania more than likely. So if you put two of them in a match and have the third person, even have Drew wrestle, like have the champion wrestle sometimes. So I'd like to see the champion wrestle. Obviously, you can still build the feud this way, and this way you're building two feuds with Fatu being a special guest referee, and then both Cody and Drew, they can get into it with him throughout the match. But the focus is still. But you can put the focus in two different places for this. Then at SmackDown, April 17th, get the final promo between Trick and Sammy, just to build a little bit more hype to their match for night two, because they done fired a lot of ammo already at this point. Then WrestleMania night 2, April 19th, have Trick Williams beat Sami Zayn in a Falls Count Anywhere's match. No shenanigans, everything's allowed. There's no interference, there's no foot on the rope. Just straight up brawling around the arena, beating each other up. Trick Williams gets the win. And that way he goes 2-0 against Sammy in singles action. And the only time Sammy was able to beat him was in a tag match due to a special guest referee being there. So now you transition him into his next feud, Pretty Deadly. Just because why not? Because you can have Pretty Deadly reunite on April 24th SmackDown. They see Trick backstage and they keep the toxic masculinity gimmick going, and they call him toxic because that's all they can say. So then May 1st, Trick will beat Elton Prince one-on-one. May 8th, he'll beat Kit Wilson one-on-one. Backlash is May 9th. You don't need Trick at Backlash because I'm still building the story with Pretty Deadly, so he can miss Backlash and he'll be fine. And so we move on from that. Now SmackDown May 15th, Pretty Deadly, they can talk about how Trick, he only got lucky, how they believe how Trick got lucky in the one-on-one matches, and Trick is like, I can beat both of y'all. I already beat y'all one-on-one, but if y'all want to run this again at Saturday night's main event, but one-on-two, I happily do that. And the Saturday night's main event that I have here, that's, like I said, this is a projection, not confirmed. So I'm assuming that's going to be May 30th if that's the route they go. But I would have Pretty Deadly, because they have to gain some momentum too. They just lost one-on-one matches. But May 20, and then both of these matches on the 22nd and 29th of May on SmackDown, Trick Williams will be on commentary for these Pretty Deadly matches. As Pretty Deadly would defeat Fraxium May 22nd, then defeat Berto and Garza on May 29th. So then you get to May 30th, that Saturday night's main event. Have Trick beat Pretty Deadly, but it's a competitive 15-minute match. Pretty Deadly doesn't look weak by losing in a match that's actually competitive. Like, it's 2-on-1. Like, you still want Trick to go over to establish him, make him dominant, make him a guy that's not to be played with. He can take on anybody. He's ready for any challenge, but you also don't want to make Pretty Deadly look weak, because I think you can have him be one of the tag teams going after the tag titles, and then you can have Trick get the win there, and then you can move on from that. Pretty Deadly can reset whoever they go against next. Maybe it's the MFTs. They can acknowledge how they beat them, how they lost when they had the numbers game. Now they wouldn't have that versus the MFTs, and you can play into that dynamic. But Pretty Deadly, that's not the main topic, but you could go somewhere with Pretty Deadly if you did that. And then, assuming that Worlds Collide happens again, since they do own AAA, I would start building towards that. So it'll be a short build, but June 5th, SmackDown. Now, I'm assuming Worlds Collide is June 13th. Like I said, that's not confirmed. But if that's the date that they go with, this is how I would do it. It would be a short build, because King of the Ring would have to take place soon following that. Excuse me. So June 5th, I would have Trick brag about his domination, how he's destroyed Pretty Deadly. He took R-Truth, he put R-Truth on the shelf. He beat that bum, Sami Zayn, and then he can talk about how he's not going to let these AAA and TNA guys try to take over and do look like the better brands, because they're going to team up. AAA and TNA are going to be the outsiders. With TNA partnership, with them owning AAA, they want to look strong. So then I would have him assemble a squad of the top heels in WWE just for this event, because none of these names, they really shouldn't work together. But this is just for the AAA event to make it more cool. You could Trick, he'll call out Gunther, Logan Paul, Drew McIntyre, and Saquon Sugars. That's the team that's going to be representing WWE. And you got the one NXT representative. While the team outsiders of AAA, you would have 3 AAA guys: La Parka, Octagon Jr., Mr. Iguana. While you get 2 TNA guys, and Rich Swann and Trey Miguel. And no, I don't like Rich Swann, but for this specific story, welcome. So I would have those all five for the outsiders I mentioned. I had them invade the show, and then that way you can use that the Raws, NXT, and SmackDown before Worlds Collide to continue building this. So Raw, June 8th, I would have Trick defeat La Parka in a one-on-one match, and then I would have Mr. Iguana defeat Gunther, just because I don't like Gunther. So, and it could be something cheap too. They could be the ref counting super fast. They can be a biased ref with like a mask on, like a luchador mask. Like, it got to be some type of shenanigans for Mr. Iguana to beat Gunther. But follow the story. And then NXT, June 9th, I would have Rich Swann and Trey Miguel defeat Saquon Sugars and Logan Paul. Like, you can't make them look weak. Like, you gotta have it be even, because it has to be a few matches. So you gotta keep them guys. Well, no, I would have Rich Swann. Yeah, I would have them defeat them in a tag match. But you gotta keep them guys looking strong in AAA and TNA. Like, they can't all lose their matches. And I think, especially with Sugars being in NXT, he can take the pin. Logan don't got to take the pin. And Trey Miguel has been an X Division champion before, so you could have Trey pin Sugars, or you could have Swann pin Sugars, because Rich Swann has been a world champion, be it was 5 years ago, but it still happened. So then SmackDown, June 12th, I would have Drew defeat Octagon Jr. to begin the show. Then you close the show with all 10 guys brawling. Then June 13th, Worlds Collide. That's when I'm assuming it's going to be. Team WWE will win, of course. You think WWE wasn't going over in the end? Yeah, but you're going to have Trick and Drew stand tall after eliminating Mr. Iguana and Trey Miguel, who's the last 2 left. So now, following that, you get into the King of the Ring brackets. King of the Ring for the Raw side, you got Braun Breaker versus Brunson Reed, Gable versus Kaiser, LA Knight versus Grayson Waller, Seth Rollins versus Punk, And Gable versus Kaiser, that is just them. It's not the El Grandes. Because the El Grande match is going to happen at Mania. But then seeing them in the King of the Ring tournament as themselves would be super cool. But on the Raw side, I would have Braun defeat Brunson, Gable defeat Kaiser, LA defeat Waller, Seth defeat Punk. And I'm just running through this so because the SmackDown side is more important because that's where Trick is at. And then in that second round for the Raw side, I would have Gable defeat Braun. Now, why? Just because I would have Gable defeat Braun, Seth defeat LA Knight. So LA Knight would run into Seth again and couldn't beat him. So the Raw side of the bracket is Chad Gable and Seth Rollins for the finals. SmackDown side, Ilya, the Trick. So on SmackDown on June 19th, it's going to be 4 King of the Ring matches. June 26th, SmackDown, 2 King of the Ring matches. Then SmackDown July 3rd, that'll be the King of the Ring semifinal match for SmackDown. But I would have Trick defeat Ilya, Matt Cardona defeat Gargano, Carmelo Hayes defeat Tama Tonga, and Aleister Black defeat Rey Fenix. That's all on that June 19th SmackDown. So June 26th SmackDown, I would have Trick defeat Matt Cardona because that's light work. June, in that same SmackDown, I'll have Melo defeat Aleister Black, keeping Melo and Trick away from each other past Mania and having them meet in the King of the Ring tournament. And Melo could have lost the title at this point. Him having the U.S. title, that's irrelevant at this point. Now, he could have lost by this time, by June. He could have lost that Backlash. Let's just say Melo loses that Backlash. He's in the tournament. So now, on July 3rd, obviously before July 3rd, it's going to be June something for Raw. And I would have Chad Gable defeat Seth, having a shocking upset, having a shocking rise of Chad Gable, censor his turn, going all the way to the finals of the King of the Ring tournament. And then Trick and Melo, I would have Trick get the win, but you revisit this just for a match. And then this could be a story once Trick is champion, but having them meet each other in a match, and then you revisit that later down the line. Trick get the win. Then SmackDown July 10th, you had Trick and Gable go toe-to-toe on the mic. I think they could both go crazy. And I do think Chad Gable is going to be a face by this point because I think original El Grande, he has to be the face. Because I feel like everybody rocks with original El Grande. People don't hate Kaiser, but I think it would make more sense if the original is the face in this scenario. And then you get to July 11th, Night of Champions, another projection because I can't confirm. A lot of these dates are unconfirmed for the pay-per-views and Saturday night's main events. But I would have Trick defeat Chad Gable. Of course, I wouldn't go all the way. Wouldn't make it all the way here with Chad Gable winning. This would be a good push for Chad Gable, establish him as, we got something for Chad Gable going into 2027. And then Trick, you establish him, he's going straight to the main event. He don't have to wait. He don't have to be in the mid card. We know that he has the mic skills. We seen him go toe to toe with Sammy and Randy Orton. We seen Randy Orton look impressed. He broke character. He was like, yeah, this guy has it. That was the look Randy Orton gave. He was like, yeah, this guy has it. And you don't see Randy Orton break character often. And you already had him at the events such as the Raptors game with his fiance. He had solid performance in the Royal Rumble. He's one of those guys. So once Trick gets the win, you get SmackDown July 17th. Him and Drew, they've teamed with each other in the past. They meet each other as they're finally trying to go one-on-one. And Trick, he was like, I'm ready to win World Championship gold once again. For those that don't know, I did what you did too. I've been a TNA World Champion, just like you were. Now I want to be the WWE Champion. Drew was like, he might pull a Randy Orton too. Like, he's been impressed with Trick Williams, what he's been able to do. He's impressed with the rise that Trick Williams is on, and he has to gain respect for him. Instead of tagging with each other, he's seen his work, but he don't plan on this reign ending anytime soon. I didn't work this hard and fight this long to get this title back to have this reign with the title and lose it here. I'm trying to continue this longer than Roman had it. That's the goal. Out of all the times that Roman and Cody cost me, at least as long as Cody had it, that's the goal. But if I can get to Roman, that's going to be legendary. And then they agree to a beat the clock stipulation. So next week, they're both in matches. Whoever wins in a shorter time gets to pick the stipulation for their match. So Drew McIntyre, he gets Angelo Dawkins. And then that's a match that lasts 15 minutes, 11 seconds. Drew gets the win, of course. Trick Williams, he gets lucky and he gets Joe Gacy. And he just beats Joe Gacy in 10 minutes, 33 seconds. So beating Drew, I mean, yeah, getting his match done faster in about 5 minutes. And Trick wants a 1 hour Iron Man match. We haven't seen an Iron Man match in a minute. And I know this could be hard to pull off with two heels, I understand that. But I think I think these two could pull it off if you gave them, if you gave them the time to do this. I think they could really pull it off. And then or maybe a 30-minute Iron Man match. But I feel we haven't seen an Iron Man match in general in a minute. Last Iron Man match I saw was in AEW with MJF and Bryan Danielson, and it took over an hour because they were tied after an hour. So it's like 3 to 5 extra minutes, and MJF won. One of my favorite matches. But yeah, I would have them agree to an hour Iron Man match. Then July 31st, you could do the contract signing with Drew and Trick, and it don't gotta end like a normal promo between it would if it was anybody else. It can end with a handshake since they don't really have any beef against each other. This is about the championship at the end of the day. Because you can, even though like heel versus heel, face versus face, it doesn't work all the time. Having Trick win King of the Ring can make this work because it's like at the end of the day I want the championship. So this will be the one loophole to because I allowed it myself. But that's the one loophole to this King of the Ring. And I truly think Trick had that momentum at that time to do this. In night 2, SummerSlam, August 2nd, Trick Williams defeats Drew McIntyre in the Iron Man match. A 3 falls to 2 to become the new WWE champion. That takes up that final hour of SmackDown. Fans go home happy. Drew McIntyre had a nice, decent reign with the title. He had multiple title defenses in front of a live crowd. Trick Williams, she puts him to the forefront immediately. He don't gotta wait for Money in the Bank. He takes his opportunity now. He becomes King of the Ring. He does something that Booker T did in winning King of the Ring, and he does something that Drew McIntyre did, being TNA World Champion and being WWE Champion. Not the World Heavyweight Champion, the WWE Champion. And so that's how we'll book Trick Williams to win King of the Ring and become the WWE Champion at some point this year. If they're really serious about pushing Trick, do not put him in the mid-card scene now. At some point in his career, he's going to be in the mid-card, but for now, you already have established having him working with main eventers. When Randy Orton gave him that look, it was like, Randy Orton isn't doing that to a lot of people. He went toe-to-toe with Sami Zayn. Like, he really, like, as much as I don't like Sami Zayn, I've never seen Sami get embarrassed that bad on the mic by a guy until Trick Williams did it. So that's how I'll book. And Sami Zayn's lost some promo battles, but Trick Williams really embarrassed him. It's like Trick Williams, he got it all. This is how I book him to be WWE Champion. I don't think he needs Money in the Bank. But let me know what y'all think. Leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, comment, and share for others to see.